I wasn't expecting you to join so soon. King Noble,
Yeah,
thank you so much for being here. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
yeah.
It's a blessing to have the King Noble in the building, and thank God for Lex Vortex. I'm here on his platform right now, and he's really opened up the door for women like me to speak, and I really appreciate that. So I have to say thank you, Lex Vortex, for doing that. And King Noble, can you hear me? Yes or no?
Yes, I hear you.
That's awesome. So how's it going? Can
It's
you
going
say
supreme. Everything is supreme.
everything is supreme, black supremacy, aboriginal supremacy. It doesn't matter how you name it. We are the people who look like us were the first people here in America, in China, in Asia, in Africa. They all look like us. So it doesn't matter if you say black, aboriginal, Kemet, whatever you want to say, you know. But we reached out to each other because there was something that we wanted to talk to each other about as far as Black domestic discipline. And so, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you.
So I know with you, you do a lot of work in our community. You do a lot of teaching about Black supremacy, which is basically in my thinking is just loving yourself, creating a country for yourself, having healthy families for yourself. That's what Black supremacy means to me. It's raising children who are healthy, who have the mother and the father in the household in their building. And even though the building might not be perfect at first, but every builder starts from scratch. Every builder starts from scratch. They have nothing. All they have literally is nails and wood and maybe some glue, some what is it called? Calc or whatever. But they start from scratch and they build. And I think that we can do the same thing in our community. We have to, because we have children, we have a legacy to leave, we have the relationship. The man and the woman dynamic is so important. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on that, but they shouldn't, because I grew up in a family or a household. I won't even say family. I grew up in a household where it was just my mom. And my dad just came in and out throughout my life. It was very dysfunctional. I have a problem with that. And the reason why I have a problem with that is because I just grew up cussing men out, acting a fool. I don't want to be like that with my children. I don't want to teach my daughters. I don't want to teach my sons that a woman is supposed to just go cuss your ass out every time she feel like it. You know, we have to be professional on the jobs. We have to say yes, sir, on the jobs. We have to be on our best top work on the jobs, right? But when we come home, there's none of that. It's totally chaotic. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree totally.
Okay, so when we come home, this is how I'm feeling. I just got off the job. I have my children here. I have to cook and clean. And granted, my husband, he does cook, he does help me out in cooking and cleaning too. But let's put that aside right now. What's important right now is the fact that I just got off the job having to kiss a lot of people's ass. I had to kiss my coworker's ass. I had to kiss my the what is it called? The manager. I had to kiss the manager's ass, or at least be normal with them. And then I have to come home and it's a mess. And I tend to vent. And I think a lot of women go through this as well. We have to vent, you know? It's not a good thing. It's very frustrating, and it feels like there's a lot on our plate. We have to be perfect in a society that does not view us in a perfect way. So we're dealing with that. We're dealing with being beautiful, because we want to be beautiful. We want to be respected by our men. We want to be held up by our men. You know, that's also going on in our heads. We want to be respected. And it's like when we come home, we don't want any drama. But for some reason, everything creates a whole bunch of drama. And so that's why I brought the topic about Black domestic discipline to the table, because we can, some of us women, not all of us women are like this, just me, I'm just going to say me, we can be bitches, okay? We can come home and unleash the devil on our men. And that's not right. I know that that is not a solution. We cannot continue like that. But I know we have to build. And so one solution I came up with, or not even just me, just the whole community came up with, was Black domestic discipline. And that's the reason why we're practicing this, to try to better our relationships. Because some got to give. I'm so tired. I'm tired. I'm honestly tired. And I really want things to be normal. I want things to be in a building situation to where everything's fine and everything's happy and everybody can have peace and everybody can be calm. And if we want to go take a vacation, we can do that. If we want to go on the other side of the world, we can do that. But right now, I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm building from scratches. Not only am I building from scratches with a man that I love, I feel like we just have to go with the flow, trust God, trust Yah, whatever you want to call God. We trust the universe, and we just be adults and we move on, and we go with that.
Yeah, Natty wanted to ask you a question too. She was listening to you. She want to ask you a question. You hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Peace, Black Supremacy sister. How you doing?
Peace, Queen.
All right. I wanted to know, with your stance on submissiveness, how do you feel about polygamy? Like, are you submissive to the point of, if your man wants a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th wife, are you submissive to that extent?
I've always told everybody this from the get-go. If you look at all my videos, I've always said that the reason why I support polygamy is because I need help, okay? I need help in the house. And with another woman, let's just say this is just the second woman. We ain't even going on the third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth woman, okay? Because what we could do there is some great things. But let's just say my husband decided to bring in a second woman, which he won't. We've already talked about this. He said that he does not want another Yahshell. He doesn't want to have to deal with another woman. He says that Yahshell is enough. That's what he tells me when I try to bring on another wife. And I have to respect him for that. But, you know, it might change in the future. But going back to the second wife, the second wife, I run a business. Okay, the business is called Black Domestic Discipline. And that alone is a full-time job. But I also work that alone is a full-time job. And also clean and cook. I do the kids' hair. If I had another wife in the household, she would be able to take on some of those responsibilities and we could build together. And so maybe she likes to cook more. Me as myself, I'm more of a businesswoman. But there's some women who actually have a joy and a calmness in cooking. Or there's some women who really enjoy cleaning. Or there's some women who enjoy being creative. There's some women who enjoy just fixing up the house and just making it better. Like everybody has their own passions, their own joys. And I think that if we came together as women under the leadership of a male, a man, a leader, a dominant man, that we can build faster, because it's all about building faster. We don't want to build slow. Either way it goes, we're going to build, but we don't want to build slow.
Okay. I mean, with that said, it kind of sounds like you, the dominant one there. If you're saying that you're open to a second wife and he's not, I mean, in some way you have a dominant idea of how the Black family, can operate better. So what are his hangups then? Why not another submissive Yahshell?
I am in the process of, I'm being trained right now by a dominant man. And I'm learning the art of submission and being humble. So I'm not quite there yet. But at the same time, I don't mind stepping back. I don't mind stepping back. I do it all the time at my job anyway. I step back. I don't talk to nobody. I'm not trying to be the center of attention. I'm not trying to beg for somebody's worship, And so I think that same action can play in the household with another woman here, and we can build, like I said. So it's not, okay, I see where you're going. I see where you're going with this. I am so-called, I guess you would say, the first lady in this household, in this Black supremacy, in this city, in this state, in this household. I would technically be the first lady, but I would never disrespect my queens who come in here. They're my queens. I respect them. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If they're right, they're right. And I am all about bettering the whole community. And right now, the community is our children. The community is my husband, my wives. If it would be in that situation, the community is me. So we're all working together to build each other up. So it's not just about Yahshell. Like, seriously, there'll be situations where I'm nothing, and there'll be situations where I'm everything. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as we are building and we're moving to the next step and we're growing, I think that would be enough. I know for a fact that would be enough for me.
Okay. So I'm not sure if you've mentioned it, but like, what are your future? Because you mentioned this as a business as well as a lifestyle. So like, what would be your future goals? Because I know, if it's just a lifestyle, it can kind of go either way. But if it's a business, like, is there some sort of like 4 or 5 year plan, or how does a woman who is not trying to do this as a business, how does she incorporate that into her life? Like, you see where I'm going with that? Because it's easy to see how you could be doing this for a business and maybe take that seriously and sell a little products here and there as it pertains to Black domestic discipline. But that might be something that might detach the average woman who is not trying to make money off of being submissive to her man. Do you see what I mean? So like, what is your overall, if you have one, outlook?
Okay.
With that dichotomy in mind, lifestyle / business, like.
No, for me, there's no lifestyle / business. A business is your lifestyle. You live what you talk about. You live your passion. Domestic discipline is my lifestyle. My husband spanks me for discipline when needed. But at the same time, there's people out there who want spanking videos and they want to purchase it. They want to support our family financially. So I don't think we should, I think we need to get out of the role of separating family from business, because business and family needs to be the same thing. Because then you got to ask yourself, like, what the fuck are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Are we just working for a slave master and we're making the money and we're putting it back into our households to pay bills to push it right back on out to the same person who paid us? To me, that's slavery. And so with combining the family, our family business with our business makes sense to me. It makes sense. And because what you're promoting is your passion. You're doing your passion. You're doing the things that you know you were born to do, and you're getting paid for it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with getting paid for what you want to do. Either way it goes, you're going to get paid. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get paid anyway, because either you're going to go get a job, either you're going to go on the streets and make some quick money. Either way it goes, you're going to work for money. So why not work for a good purpose?
Okay, you know, the reason I ask is because for you, you might be able to combine the two. But for me personally, like I never saw it as it being your quote unquote business, steady income, or anything like that. So I'm saying for other women, they might not be able to incorporate the whole submission thing. They might separate it. It might not just be like, this is my lifestyle. Like they might have another, and something that they're interested in where they don't include spanking as a source of income. Like, so with that said, it might have our what?
I was just going to ask, have you ever heard of the Queen of England?
Afua?
Have you ever heard of the Queen of England?
Of course.
Okay, I don't know if you studied this, but do you know that the Queen of England lives in a rich castle? She has her administrators. She has her own army. She has her own husband, which is the king. She has her own. Okay, wait, I'm not finished. She has her own, wait, she has her own business. Her business is she owns land. She's making deals with other countries. So this is all happening in her own house. That's why I said, like, if we get on some queen stuff, we can actually make this happen. You're supposed to live life doing your passion and getting paid for it. That's how life is supposed to be, queen.
Right, but I'm saying, if this is something, that's what I'm trying to let you see that some women are not, like, they might have their passion and they might be getting paid for that passion, but that's every black woman in America right now. That's damn near every black woman. Their passion is to go to work for the white man, and their pleasure is getting spanked by him when he murders their children. Or like so if you're trying to bring black, So if you're trying to bring like black submission into the black community, but they don't see that as their passion or their pleasure, how you like? I'm trying to see if you had, but you are combining it with business, and I'm saying it
because
it might need to be separated.
Just like the same reason that I tell these men out here, y'all need to stop being some simps and some bitches and some pussies. I say the same thing to black women in America. Y'all have to stop settling. There are plenty of good black men out there who will die to protect you. They will die to build something with you. But there's nothing wrong with being submissive. I'm not saying you have to get spanked. There's a lot of women
already submissive. They are submissive, just not to the black man. So what is the benefit for them? And I'm like, I see it, but I'm saying from your perspective, it being combined with the business, the average black woman may not be able to see that. Like, she's gonna be like, well, why the hell would I get my ass spanked for a few dollars when I could go over here and work at this corporation and submit to somebody who will actually pay me, like, you know, more money. I don't have to, cause you being spanked and you earning money. You gotta, do you see what I mean? When they could get spanked, they already getting spanked. They just don't see it as an ass whooping when they get that check.
What do they see it as?
But they are submissive.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much history you've done on white people and black people and Asian people and everybody else, but there was a time where white men literally had shit. Black men were ruling all of the countries, China, America, Africa, everything. White people, white men and white women did not have shit. They were starting from the bottom. They were cave people. They literally started out of caves. And so it came to the point where nobody was giving them shit. The white woman had to submit to the white man. And that's how she and him got that power of a nation, of running a nation. Because it all starts with the women. It starts with us. We are the mothers of the universe. We create things. We can bring things to life. We can bring so many things to life. But if we are in opposition of our men, then it's all death. It's all death. We're going to be swirlers. We're going to be out on crack cocaine. We ain't going to be shit. We're going to be in the hoods and the ghettos and everything. So when we are ready to step up, then we're going to learn how to submit to our men. And submission is not a bad word. It's not like the scary word. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, I got to be locked in a closet. That's crazy. Submission is our power. It's how we're going to get our nation back. You do know we had nations before. We had nations in Africa. We had nations here in America. We had nations before Caucasians even had nations here. We are the Olmecs. We are the indigenous people here in this land, just like we are the indigenous people in China, in India. Everywhere you look, we are. Somebody who looks like us was there first. So we have to get back on that kingdom and queendom stuff. And the way that we can do it is so simple and so easy. All it is being cooperative to our men. That's it. That's all they ask. And that's all and believe it or not, we're actually more calm and more we get more satisfaction by serving our men, by being feminine, by being sexy, by being smart, by voicing our opinion to our men. We have so much more power than what we do now with this feminist bullshit.
Right. I see what you're saying about the whole white people used to be, you know, less dominant as they are right now. But that was obviously like a whole different dynamic then. Like, you didn't have everything that we have now that is capturing a black woman's attention through the media and just, you know, regular socialization. So I'm saying black women are, you know, even though that may have worked for the white woman, they didn't necessarily go through what we went through. Her submitting to the white man probably didn't take much away from the pride and dignity, the false pride and dignity that she has been indoctrinated with and built up over time. So it's kind of like when you include it with commerce and business, you know, I'm saying that it's easy for a black woman to just cast away and be like, well, why the hell would I do that? You know? So I guess what I'm trying to say is the whole, why not sort of push submission irregardless of funding? Regardless of business, like, I know you try to connect it with your lifestyle and all that, but I could see how more black women could be more submissive to the black man if it really didn't have a whole lot to do with how much money she or he earns through her submission, like through her submission to him. Like, what if her being submissive to him does not bring them any money? Does she, is she no longer submissive at that point?
At this point right now, there's women. Okay, when you first want to build a house, right? First, before you even think about building the house, you have to get with a good company, which means you have to have a man or a woman, whatever, who you trust, right? Am I right?
Correct.
Yo,
I mean, or you could just, a lot of shit happen out here nowadays, but yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't do that with me. You are going to hire a company that you trust. You want to build, say you just bought this piece of land. You want to hire a company that you trust. You're going to do the background. What
company do you know? Like, we're not brought up with, oh, this company is good, son, and you get all buy from this company, It's all based on media and advertising.
Queen, listen, hear me out. You're going besides the point right now. You're going everywhere. Just listen to what I'm saying. When you are searching, say you have a piece of land. Let's just say you have 3 acres. You are searching for a company. You're going to do background search, right? You're going to make sure that this company is going to protect you, that this company has insurance, that this company is honest, that this company has showed their past backgrounds of the work that they have done. They're going to show you their backgrounds. This is the same thing that needs to happen when we are searching for men. We have to check the backgrounds. We have to check their actions. We have to trust them. If we're with men who we don't trust, if we were some thug ass niggas who just want to beat on us and take our money and dog us out, then no, you're not supposed to be with men like that. So let's not even talk about Black domestic discipline. Let's throw that shit out the window. If you would dealing with a thug or some down ass nigga who ain't trying to build nothing, then we are throwing Black domestic discipline out the window. They don't even have an option for that. So this is the same thing that we do with a company. So we're going to build. We're going to start from scratch. Literally. I work with a lot of, okay, let me just tell you.
The mind of the Black woman is not necessarily she's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to go on these dates, interview these men, see which one is a suitable partner to spank my ass. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying. And guess what? If the Black woman collectively doesn't want to get herself together, then she has no right to interview a good man. She has no right. She needs to work on herself and get herself together first before she even think about building. This is what we are about with 5,000 Elite, with Lex Vortex, with Black domestic discipline, with everything we're trying to do. We're building. It's more. Sure. It's bigger than some spanking.
What I'm starting to see is that you're not necessarily telling these women to go out and submit to any man. What you're saying is that they're submitting to an idea that they already acknowledged. So they're basically submitting to the perfect idea, the perfect template, or they're submitting to a model that's going to lead them to a certain type of material or success within their life. So it's not it's not blind submission. It's actually functional submission. As a part of a corporation or as a part of an entity that has these definitive objectives based on your analysis and your evaluation of the capability of that entity. Am I correct?
You are correct. You are correct in a certain extent.
Right.
King, real quick, you're so on point. We are not building with simps. We don't build with thugs. We don't build with bullshit ass niggas. We don't do that. We are...
So submissive, who is determining who's you get me? If you're submissive to the Black man, how are you going to determine he's a simp, he's a no good, he's a thug? If you're submissive to the Black man, you're submissive to the Black man.
I can tell you real quick, there's a difference between simps, there's a difference between thugs and the so-called that y'all like that. Well, not you.
I get that. But I'm saying, what I'm going at it is there's an opportunity to build up the submissiveness in the Black woman outside of how much money he has or how much material you're going to be able to get, what you're going to get out of it at the end result.
Exactly.
You know, out of whether you're going to be able to find the ideal black man or not.
I'm so glad that you said that. That's so true. Because at this point, it really doesn't matter. If you're building with a king, we know the difference between a good man, or what we call the educated lanes or whatever. We know the difference between good black men and bad black men. So we're just going to build with the good ones. And so what you said is exactly on point. Sometimes it doesn't matter. I started, I'm going to be real with you. I started in a 2-bedroom apartment with my husband. We had children, everything. It was a disaster. And now, but because I stuck with him and I respected him and we built together.
But that should be every black woman. It shouldn't just be about, you get me, whether I'm going to submit to you or not. Then he could have.
It should be every black woman, like you said.
Right. So, but that opportunity is lost when it's attached to business. And I'm not saying that what you're doing is you particularly are wrong for attaching what you're doing to business. But what I am saying is that for all these women out here, they got their business, they got their money, they got their this. What they gonna throw all that away and open up replicate what you're doing as far as the business side of things?
Oh, I get it.
That's what I'm trying to say. That needs to be built up in them irregardless.
Okay, so these women who got it all together, they don't need no man. They got the car, they got the house, they got all the riches, right? They got everything, but they're still fucking single. All right, let's let them die off. Let them.
Some of them are not single. Some of them, they might. The man in the relationship might be the submissive. Like, do you see what I'm seeing? What I'm saying is,
I don't see them women. A lot of them women are not submissive. I mean, can we just be real?
That's what I'm saying. I see that they're not submissive, but they might still have a black man that they're hollering at or that they're dogging out. Do those women not need to see the value in submissiveness to the man, even if it has nothing to do with her business? You get me?
Real quick, if there's any way you can introduce yourself. I don't think we had a formal introduction. I want to have a logical conversation with you to where we get to real results. If you could, can you introduce yourself and tell me what you do?
I mean, I thought you already knew about me already, but I'm Natty.
I mean, if you can introduce yourself to the people who are watching.
I mean, I'm here. I don't necessarily. I don't know. What do you want to know?
I want to know what you do. I want to know how you're connected to King Noble, who is supposed to be doing an interview with me tonight, and also would like to know what are your goals and just something about you. And
I mean, I do pretty much the same work King Noble does.
Most importantly, I would like to know, and also the people who are watching this live show right now, how did you get connected to King Noble?
Through submission.
So you submit to who?
Through black submission to King Noble.
You submit to King Noble. You admit that,
absolutely. Right? Correct.
And how do you submit to King Noble?
By devoting my life, doing a lot of work that helps black supremacy and pushing that. And I mean, partly how we're able to still speak to you today through the voice of black supremacy.
Okay, because what I don't want this live hangout to be is something to where we end up going head to head with each other. If you understand, I want to have real solutions.
I think you're misinterpreting. You might be taking it as an attack. I'm really trying to show you how there are black women who, if you continue to connect it as a business force, they're not going to be able to see the value whatsoever, because most women are already materialistic in the white matrix. So I'm saying that there definitely needs to be a space and opportunity to promote submission to the black man, irregardless of money. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's not an attack. It's not nothing about head to head. I like what you're doing. I've watched a few of your videos. I didn't know that you had it, that this was like your business, the way you just mentioned it, the way you presented it earlier. I didn't know that it was that connected to, I guess, how you feed yourself. Or you see what I'm saying? So that can, I'm just showing you how that can get lost for the average Black woman. This can just be looked at as a hustle. You get me? And not something that they really need to take seriously if they are making money, if they are getting it in the system. It could easily just become, just not something that they value. And I guess I'm trying to show you the opportunity there.
I've literally started.
That's up to you whether you want to take that or do whatever with it. Otherwise, as far as the business aspect, I could see how you could be doing a lot more to evangelize that. But
so
if you're spending in any way, that was not my intention.
Okay. So my main thing was I started domestic discipline, Black domestic discipline, for free. I mean, I literally just wanted to get it out there to help women like me, who can be bossy sometimes with our men, who can be mouthy, if you know what I mean. And there was no money involved in this. I literally started this from the ground up. There was no money involved. But what I want people, especially Black people.
Let me say something. See, that you just mentioned something. I don't mean to cut you off, but that's where I met you at. When I found out about you, I was very heavy into the whole submission thing, online even, and I really thought that you had kind of, that energy had projected itself maybe and sprung into maybe something that you're doing. I don't mean to seem egotistical or whatever, but like I just seen it as that. So you're saying how you're just reiterating basically what I thought that what you were doing was something that was predominantly free, open source to the public. You get me? Open source to Black women to take heed to. I can understand how over time it could become something that becomes a business, but I'm saying that foundation that you had there is a very strong source of power, where it was free, is a very strong source of energy. And I'm saying there needs to be more of that.
Yeah, it does. And there is a lot of it. Like, seriously, if you guys want this, there's Black Domestic Discipline on the Facebook page. There's Black Domestic Discipline on Instagram. Nobody's getting paid off of that. It's just a community that we're building. But here's my problem. My problem is that sometimes we think that we should not get paid for our passion. You see what I'm saying? We think that we should just do stuff for free. And that's okay. I do a lot of stuff for free. I just gave some money I donated to somebody who said they were in need recently. I do some things for free. That's fine. But I still work a day job. And even though I love my job and hate it at the same damn time, there's something else better out there for all of us. There's people who are speaking, they're doing engagements, they're selling their products, they're still getting the word out, and they're still helping the community, but they're doing it on a full-time basis. And I just don't think there's anything wrong with that. And maybe Lex can check me on this, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, come on. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, period.
Right. I mean, I didn't come on the show my whole point wasn't to really, it wasn't business orientated, but I'll say this. What was revealed so far in this interview is that I think that submission, when we use these European words, like submission, it's not an African word. What I see that you are actually really doing, and that's not to take away from the word submission or how you have presented that, is that you are just intelligently distributing your energy in ways that can lead to you being successful as a Black woman, and having a very strong black family. That's really what you are actually doing. It's beyond submission because and so people, if they just hop on submission, they're not going to miss how intelligent that word doesn't encompass your intelligence. You know what I'm saying? And how you actually move and operate to establish what you're doing. It's so much more profound. What you're doing is way more profound than the word submission. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Yes.
You know how to manage and distribute your energy in ways to evolve your life experience, and that could be very sophisticated. Submitting is just not enough. You know, it's about how you distribute your energy as a human being. Just submitting to any man or just saying I submit. You're smarter than that, obviously. Not saying that one who submit is stupid. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just saying that it's what you're doing is not being encompassed in the word submission at all. You know what I'm saying? You are doing something that is very. I think you may underestimate the type of intelligence that you actually have to be doing what you're doing. Any sister that hop on submission is not about to do this. I'm just about to keep it real with you. She's not that.
Totally.
You see where I'm going?
So you said submission is not an African word. Of course it's not, but the act of it is African. It all starts from Africa. It all starts from the indigenous people, which is us. We are the kings and queens of balance. We're the kings and queens of making things happen. We're the kings and queens of the sexiest women on the planet and the sexiest, strongest men on the planet. We make things happen even when we're down and when we're in slavery and when we are just so-called nothing, we still make things happen mysteriously. And that's because we are the chosen people of God, which I know you already know. And so, yeah, submission, technically all these words that we're saying are not African words. They're all European words because we're speaking English.
Right. So I'm just saying that it doesn't encompass what you're doing. What you're doing, I see, is very. I mean, it's very sophisticated as you have developed. It's almost it is discipline. You know what I'm saying? You've disciplined yourself in order to distribute your energy in a way that will be harmonious for your household in order to evolve as a person. You know, it's more domestic discipline than it is submission. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Okay, so what I have to say about that is you are correct about that. I'm in training with that. I don't know if you heard of him, but he's called Alan Roger Curry. He's training me right now because I am in agreement with the spankings and the discipline, but I have no submissive training. And so that's another story that we'll have to talk on at another time.
So does the act of spanking arouse you more than the does the business aspect arouse you more than the act of spanking? Or do you see where I'm going?
Okay, I'm a woman and my husband is a man to where we want it all, okay? We want spiritual healthiness, we want business healthiness, which means wealth, success, and we also want relationship healthiness and relationship building. We also want country building, nation building, all right? So basically, you can just say that me and my husband, we want it all. And we're basically doing everything that we can to help other Black people to have that same mindset to where they need to know they deserve it all. We've paid our dues. We paid it. We deserve this. This is ours. This is what God told us that we could have. This is it. And it's time for us to claim our land, our territory. And
I feel all of that, sister. The only reason I ask you is because you say you're in training. So, you know, that implies that you might, like, where's the submission coming from? Is it his idea? Is it your idea? Because I would feel as though if I was submission, I wouldn't need any. Not that I wouldn't necessarily need any advice or guidance, but as far as I don't know, it can come across a little confusing when you say you're in training, but you're
Okay,
submissive.
you just stated that you are in submission to King Noble.
Correct.
Okay, so what the hell is wrong with submission? Why can't we just be real?
I don't have a problem with the word submission. I'm trying to.
I didn't say you had
I'm
a
trying
problem
to
with
see
the word
what.
submission. I'm just saying that you just admitted that you submitted to King Noble, and that's why I called you a queen.
Right, and
That's
then you
why.
asked me what is the problem with submission, and I said I don't have a problem with the word submission, but I'm trying to. I guess my mind is more expanded as far as that word and even what you're talking about. Like I see a greater picture. I see a greater implication when you mention words like that and the context of the things that
Okay,
you're talking about.
okay, I get what you're saying now. You're right, because submission, it could be a dangerous word to some women, you know, because they just thinking, oh, I'm fucked up, I just need to go ahead and submit to any random dude. And it's like, nah, you don't need to do that. And so that's why I feel you on that one.
Because
I feel you on that.
I mean, it's not even that. It's the whole, like, if I was to come online and say I never watched you from the start, if I was to just come online and I was to see some submission to the black man, domestic discipline, I would be thinking that it's something that, like, it's a lot that I need to let go and a lot that I need to unload, and that I need to, even if I have been the aggressor, because, you know, when you mention the word submission, the flip side of that can come into mind, aggressor. Say I've been the aggressive one, the dominant one in the relationship, and I need to let that go. I'm looking at the picture of all the women today who they're not just going to leave their man that they're with right now and go on a whole bunch of dates to find a better black man who is more fit to be
so let's
a trainer.
Let's deal with one topic at a time, because I feel like we kind of jumping around a different topic.
I mean, I'm trying to chop it up for you, and I'm putting it back together. I don't know. I don't think you see what I'm saying.
Okay, so all right, let's deal with one topic and just stick with that and solve that, because I do have I don't have all the answers, but I do have most answers, and so if we could just stick with one topic and just take it from there.
For the black woman today, for the black woman today who's already in a relationship, she's not going to leave her relationship. What you say, it sounds like something for a woman who is single.
No.
Right, but when you mention when you mention things like don't be submissive to this A, B, C, and D.
No, okay, let's deal with that.
A lot of women are gonna be like, well, I'm going to leave this man I'm with, i.e., not be submissive.
Can we deal with that one thing first before you move into something else? Because I know you fast. You might be from up north. I'm from, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit slower. But so let's deal with that one thing. So most black women, you would think that they're not on a submissive stuff, but the main thing that I tell them is you got to be submissive to the right man. You can't be.
But if they're in a relationship, they're supposed to just leave the man there. What's the right? If you're so submissive,
what man? Okay, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop right there.
Why not? I'm getting at the heart of this. If you with a man and you submissive, how you gonna tell the man he ain't good?
What kind of man are we with is the question.
You already with him. You got 5 children and a baby on the way.
Okay, Queen. What type of man am I with? What you talking about?
I'm talking about Shaniqua, okay? That got 5 babies and 1 on the way.
Is Shaniqua with Ray and Pookie?
She with Day Day.
Okay, let's say
I don't know. She got a husband. She got a man.
This is very important. This is very important.
He don't got it all. You know, he's not the ideal black man.
Okay, let's stop right there. Let's fix the first issue that you just brought up. Let's put a solution to that. If my mama named me Shaniqua and I was with Ray or Pookie or Day Day or whatever, to me, That's somebody who sounds abusive because that's just what the names are known of.
That's black hate. That is self hate.
You're not supposed to be
spanked. I know a lot of Shanika.
Hold on, Queen. We have to settle this first.
I seen a little beautiful baby in the park called Day. That's why I mentioned the name. Come on now.
All right, check this out. If you're with an abusive man, you leave them. You don't stay with them. You don't.
I'm not talking about an abusive man. I'm talking about a man. He doesn't have your. He may not fit the idea, like, because it sounds like you're saying you're submissive, but at the same time, you got a checklist of, what your ideal man is supposed to be like. So it's like, it sounds like you're saying leave your man and go and find a man to be submissive to.
Okay, I'm literally married to a man, a black man.
I'm not talking some of this. Don't take it so personal. I'm taking it beyond you. I'm not even talking about you. I'm just talking about.
I mean,
when I deal with issues like this, I'm looking at it from a black nationalist perspective, or how this can help the black family.
No, you're not. No, you are not. You are absolutely not doing that. You're not.
How could you say that?
Because we have not settled one question that you answered, or
you barely answered half my questions.
We did not move on. See, the first thing that has to happen in women or black supremacy nationalhood is that you have to solve one problem before you move to the next issue. Right now, you've moved to like 10 or 20 issues. We never settled the first one. And so we're not getting anywhere. And when we're not getting anywhere, we're not doing anything. So if we could just start with one problem and move on to the next logically and respectively. And
I'm sticking to this question right now. If you are with a man who is not, quote unquote, your ideal man, which even that in itself raises problems and questions as far as I see, because
leave his ass.
You're being submissive and dominant at the same time. So it's
exactly. So I say leave his ass. If he's not the man that you feel you're supposed to be with, if he's not your ideal man, you need to leave him. Right now,
I'm talking about.
I'm married to my ideal man.
Right, but you're saying that you leave the man that you're with and you're going to go find this perfect man to be submissive to out in the world, when the man that you are with possibly may not have. It might be some things like he might be unaware of. You get me? If a woman watches your video today and she looks over at her man and decides that something about him, she wish he was your man, it's like she's just going to go leave him and just start creating a submissive black domestic discipline checklist. It's something that lacks submission, and it lacks patience, and it lacks concern for the black men that she may be with that never heard of black domestic discipline and don't know why his woman is tripping because she want to submit and get her ass spanked like out of nowhere, out of the blue.
Yep. So that's why it's important to be in love and be with a man who actually trusts, that you trust, who is respectful. And
I want to chime one little thing in on that. Like I think the word abuse is being abused.
So are we talking about domestic discipline or domestic violence?
No. I'm talking about the word abuse in and of itself. The word abuse has been abused. And it's also been used to separate us, because it's to act as though we as a people are not abused. And there's a bad man and not a bad situation that we exist in as a people, that we have to be nationalists. We have to get ourselves out of that situation together. That's what nationalism is. It's people getting, not bad people, but people working themselves out of a bad situation. When we start talking about abuse, now we're dividing the narrative, some of these abuse narratives. And that's not to say that there are not some people out there that are definitely in some very hellish circumstances. But the abuse narrative is being used to divide the family, because now the woman can it's quicker to look at herself as a victim than to look at black people as a whole as a victim, and to find solutions to the problem that we face within our family from a nationalistic perspective, and not as a personal perspective as a woman who's been indoctrinated by feminism. And all the women not all of them are not feminists, but they've been indoctrinated by it because the victim consciousness narrative has been implanted by the feminists. You follow what I'm saying? And that divides the black family. It divides the black family, because now they can come in and say, well, do you feel abused? but the abuse of the black nation as a whole so far supersedes the abuse of the black woman. Her son getting murdered and shot down in the streets. Black murder is gonna trump abuse any day. You know what I'm saying? Any day. But the abuse of the black woman has been exalted as the highest idea, and it's the most divisive idea. So we don't solve our problems as a community. It causes us to separate and look at ourselves individualistically. You see where I'm going with that?
Absolutely.
So the concept of abuse is also being abused, because the situations that we're in, what do you expect for being stripped of our culture, our language, our four ways, our more ways? What type of condition do you expect that we are going to be in? And are we working? Are we out of that situation as a family, or is the black woman working herself out of that situation as an individual? And to me, that's what the single black mother familyhood is about. It's about the black woman working herself out of the situation as an individual, and even getting help from feminists and the white supremacy society, to get out of family and to get out of nationalism. So we have to be careful that when we get back into nationalism, that we don't bring them same ideas. We don't bring them same ideas into nationalism, because that's a non-nationalistic idea. You don't strip me and take my job and put negative propaganda on me and attack me as a black woman, and then I come home with that, and then you ask my black woman, is she being abused? Do you see where I'm going with that? That's strategical. That to me, that's a we're socially engineered for failure with that type of construct. So when you become true internationalism, your perspective of abuse changes when you get into black nationalism. And then now it's how we are being abused, and how can we go beyond our abuses that are reflected in our relationship, because how we abuse one another is a reflection of our relationship to how we're being abused by society as a whole. You see where I'm going, but I didn't want to get on no soapbox about that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And that's why, I mentioned some of the things, because it could easily become something that is just for like an elite group per se of black women passively, aggressively submitting themselves, and I guess that's not how I saw what you're presenting, and I'm hoping that's not where it leads or where it goes, and that's why I bring up those other questions.
Well, like I said, that goes back to actually answering one question before we move on to another. This is a very deep topic, and so everything needs to be hashed out. It needs to be transparent and honest. And so we have to settle one thing and then move to the next.
Hey, peace,
Do you
Queen
have anything you
Yahshell.
want to say, King?
One question: are you a Leo? I want to ask: are you a Leo, sister?
No, I'm a Taurus.
I'm a Taurus too. I knew you had to either be a Taurus or a Leo. I just knew it. I know a Taurus and a Leo when I see one. But go ahead.
Yeah. Is there anything?
I mean, I'm dropping jewels on you right now. How can a woman that's already in a relationship?
Queen,
But,
I'm not gonna lie. You have literally asked like 30 questions all in one breath.
Girl, you don't have to keep up. You gonna have some. Oh, come on now.
Hey, peace, Queen Yahshell.
Yes, Lex.
I just want to say,
Lex is here. Oh wait,
Peace.
Navira wants to say something too.
I just want to say, you don't just up and leave somebody. You don't just up and leave somebody. You have to kind of like treat them like a lion. You ease your hand out of their mouth, because if you try to jake your hand out of their mouth too quick, you're tearing up. In other words, you just leave somebody tonight, they may come after you and hurt you or hurt your family. So it's one of those things you have to really analyze. Are you being that abused? Like,
See, I'm not even.
you just don't up and leave somebody, because it causes problem. You have to work things out. If that person's not physically beating you down and that person's not about to kill your children, you just don't leave a person.
Right, and in that instance, right? What if they're like, you know, she brought up abuse. I was mainly speaking towards, because she mentioned is, you know, what she said, it projected the image of an ideal black man. And so when I said, what if he's not the ideal black man, I think she mentioned something about if he's abusing you, blah 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 blah. And I'm saying, what if he's not abusing you,
what
right?
Is the ideal black man?
I don't know. This is because when you mentioned, you said this, because you said a man that you will submit yourself to based on A, B, C, D, and E.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
No. You could play back the video. You could play back. I'm not getting these ideas out of nowhere.
Fine. No, the ideal man has to be defined. For me personally, the ideal man is somebody who I trust, who takes care of our family, who takes care of our children, who is trying to seek God, who is seeking God and trying to live in a righteous way. To me, that's the ideal man. So we can't say the ideal man is A, B, C, and D, E. That's kind of leaving it out for people to get confused. We don't want to confuse that.
I mean, well, I guess you just helped to define what you consider an ideal man.
This is what most women would consider an ideal man. Somebody who they're raising a family, they're building something together, that person is sexually attractive to them because sex is very important. That person is taking care of their business, they're being respectful, and they're seeking God. To me, that's what I would consider an ideal man for most women. Most women would consider that as well. So let's not scratch that out and just ignore that. We have to go back to that.
Okay, so did you include money in there? You include he's going to help you make some money?
Yes, I absolutely did. You're right. Because what are we doing? If we're just in a relationship fucking and making kids, what are we doing? We're not doing anything. We have to have goals. My husband just said to me last morning, we are on a mission to build. Building means bringing money and resources, not even necessarily money. It could just be resources, but we're building something to get to a bigger and a better place. So we can pass down generations of resources to our children.
Right. And you know, but how you had presented it or mentioned it earlier, it seemed as though it was heavily connected to business. You even said that you cannot separate your business from your lifestyle. So I was saying your lifestyle, but your particular lifestyle is Black domestic discipline. And I was trying to point out the woman.
Okay, wait.
Business is not on YouTube.
You just said two things. First, you started off saying that I tried to connect business to my relationship. Let's deal with that. Of course I am. What am I doing with my life if I'm not connecting my passion and my business?
I think you're missing the bigger picture. I'm talking about women who are not doing exactly what you're doing, right?
About me. You were talking about me. Let's just deal with that first. And then you went on to something else. There's a lot of women like me. Okay. There's a lot of women like me. We take our family. The family is everything. The family is our society. The family is our Black supremacy. The family is our society, our nation. So we have many nations. But we have one nation right here. We own this land. This is my husband, my children. We're building up a community inside our house, which is our children. So we're starting very small, but we're branching out. And that's the thing. I just want most women to see that it's not, you don't snap your fingers and just have a house or have a plane or a car. You have to build for these things. You have to work for it. That's all I'm saying is.
And what I mentioned though, hold on, because she's basically saying what I'm saying. She's making my point without seeing.
Let me add something real quick.
Okay, Lex is on here. He's gonna ask me something real. He's gonna ask something real quick.
I think there's some confusion about, what everyone does with something personally. You choose to implement Black domestic discipline into your family business. You know what I'm saying? But Black domestic discipline doesn't necessarily mean that every Black woman is going to be selling her damn spank videos. You know what I mean? I don't understand the confusion about that. You can practice Black domestic discipline in your house and no one has to know about it. And you don't have to have nothing to do with business. And it could just be for your, improvement upon your relationship. I think the lady is asking you Like, what if a woman, you know, doesn't want to, implement in her business or whatever? She doesn't have to.
Mm-mm.
I think everything is going to be some degree personalized. So and if a woman's with a man that's not ideal, then the purpose of black domestic discipline is to help her still be in submission to that man. You don't have to go around saying, well, if I'm not with the ideal man, then I'm going to leave, find another man that I can submit to. Obviously, this is a solution where you're going to, this is how you're going to work whatever it is out. Now, if the dude is ridiculous, then obviously that's not a healthy relationship. If it's not perfect, that's something you can work on as a woman and using that black domestic discipline as a tool. So I think there's some confusion about what's being said. Like, I don't think you're saying black domestic discipline is a business that every woman should implement into her family. No, it's a tool for discipline, right? That's what I'm getting.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Yes, I just consider me the sheep of black domestic discipline. I'm the one who's putting my face out there. I'm putting my spanking videos out there to help other couples, to help other relationships. I don't expect every black woman or any black woman to do this, but this is something that God literally placed on my heart for me to do. And so in that respect, yes, I just can, no other black woman should have to do what I'm doing. I just feel that this is my mission in life. This is my passion, and this is my goal. And this is what I will do to help relationships.
I want to ask a question dealing with submission, because submission, usually you acknowledge yourself as a very powerful force. So you have a lot of energy, a lot of ideas. You have your own self. Let's put it this way: you have your own existence. And the idea of submission is that you're willing to tuck all that under. You're willing to take the large you and make it smaller for in a certain kind of way to relate to a man. And I guess what I'm saying is that, so submission kind of denotes, it doesn't necessarily denote agreeing. Like, because if you agree with something, you are not necessarily submitted. A business plan is not submission, because you agree with the other party. So that's a contract. So then, but submission means also being able to deal with something that you may not understand and something that you may not agree with.
Okay,
you see where I'm going?
The thing with contracts, there also is a such thing called a court. So if let's say I'm in a hierarchy right now. My husband is the head of the household. I respect him. I try my best to be as submissive as possible with him. But if there's some situations where I do need to bring something to the table that I know that he doesn't agree with, then we go to court, which means I bring the facts, I bring the documents, I bring all of my everything that I found basically, and I bring it to him in a calm, respectable, logical way. The same thing that you would do it at court. Women, when you dress up nicely, when you go to court, you dress up professionally or nicely or whatever. You respect the judge, you greet the judge. Okay, in this case, my husband is the judge. All right. So I'm going to be super logical, respectful, dress up, and present him the facts if I don't agree with something that he's saying. And he'll find it right or wrong. The thing is, there's female energy and then there's the male energy. And sometimes the male can see things that us females can't see. And then sometimes the females will see things that the male can't see. And that's why I said it's so important for us to have balance, love, respect, and truth in a relationship, and transparency, because without that, no relationship is going to work.
I think you have some very good ethical ideas. Like, I think you're ethical. I think I see you being more ethical in the way you deal with domestic affairs. That to me doesn't qualify as submission, though.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? I think you're ethical and respectable, but that's not necessarily submission.
I'm currently in training
Right, unless, and I want to throw this in there because I like to look at both sides of the dynamics. Unless the person you with it requires you to be in that manner. If the person you with says this is how you need to be, you need to present a case, and this is the code of conduct, then you are submitting to that code. Then yes, you see where I'm going. Then that would be submission. But if some way you stated it came kind of across to me like it's just you found a better way of relating to me. You found a better way of relating to someone else that you're in a relationship with. Can you see that? Because submission, you actually accept something being higher than you. To submit to something is to assume that which you're submitting to is at a higher level than you are. So it's uncontestable.
She's recognizing her man's authority simply. He's the authority. The final
right. He's a higher authority. He has a higher authority than her.
Right. Simply. And I think that's simply what she's saying.
Right. So how do you contest with something that is a higher authority than you?
Because that's why she talks about and able to do this. The reason why she's able to submit is because the person she's with, she knows that person trusts and loves her. So she's able to submit to his authority because he's not out of love. He's not going to try to be a tyrant. He's not going to say disregard what his woman's wisdom is. If she's right, he's just the final authority. But that don't mean that she might not be the one to say, baby, we should go left instead of right. He's not just going to be like, well, shut up. I'm the authority. We going right. He's going to consider out of love and say, okay, baby, you know what? You're right. We should go left. But she's just giving him that authority. She's not usurping him as a man.
Right. But this is the problem with that. Is that it's great that she's found a divine mate, of one of whom she's agreeable with and can have harmony with and that she trusts. But someone, if they're at a higher level of consciousness than you are, or they're at a higher level than you, which exists, they could seem tyrannical to you if you don't understand. If your understanding is not at the level that they're at. So in submission, you are actually taking into consideration that the entity could be beyond your understanding. So you submit irregardless, whether they appear to be a tyrant or however they may appear to you based upon your limited understanding. Because you acknowledge that this is a higher entity than you are, which puts the submission between a man and woman in perspective of why submit. If you're more intelligent than somebody, why the hell would you submit if you're more intelligent than that person? If you have more understanding than that person, what the hell would you submit to something that would be lesser than you? So true submission would mean that other entity would have to be at a higher level than you, which you would not be trying to conceptualize tyranny and all these other ideas that could get in between your submission to that which you have come to the conclusion that being is higher than you and has more authority. You follow?
I don't think it's a question of a greater entity. Like if you was in the jungle, you would submit in the case where you were surrounded by a bunch of lions. But I wouldn't think the lions, it's just a matter of order. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, like a woman could have so-called more, say, intelligence than a man to some degree. That has nothing to do with the order or the submission. The submission is in order. You know what I mean? So if I go in the jungle, you know what I mean? I'm not going to walk in a den of lions. Hey, I'm smarter. I'm the higher entity. All y'all roll over and lay down. I'm going to get eaten alive. So there's an order to what make things function right. So I think Yahshell considers the man in the order of the way a family ran. That's just the natural order. He's the head, and that's what it is. Whether she got a master's degree or she's splitting atoms, it doesn't matter. The order is man is the head, woman is his helpmeet,
but that a master's degree is not necessarily intelligence.
Yeah, I just use that as an example of
right. If someone is really And I'm just saying, say someone is really more intelligent than her, because she's a very intelligent woman. After hearing her today, I mean, she's impressively intelligent.
She's so intelligent.
Why would you submit to somebody that is dumber than you? Why would you do that?
That's a great question. Why would you
enough.
do that? Ain't nobody doing that. We're not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm. And now you're making my point.
But
that through submission, you can only submit to that which is higher than you, or you fooling yourself. If you're fooling yourself. If only if that being is more knowledgeable, more wise. You know what I'm saying? More developed. Can you really submit? You can't submit to nothing lower than you. You cannot do it. You're fooling yourself.
You know why? Because in some sense, we can say that women in general could be more intelligent than men. Some people believe that.
Stupid. Sometimes
I agree. The truth is, some people are just more intelligent than others. It don't have nothing to do with being a man or a woman. So it's not.
If a woman, check this out. But how intelligent would it be to know to even if you're intelligent, you know that for you to survive, you got to be under protection from your men. So how intelligent would you be not to empower the men that have to protect you against other men anyway? You'd be stupid. You'd be the dumbest intelligent person on the planet, because you could do all of that, but another group of men could come along and just overpower you just physically. So if you don't empower your men in a position of authority, you be stupid. I don't care if you was the wisest God in the universe. But you would use that intelligence to empower that which has to protect you.
It's relative, though. There are cases where women can protect men. It depends on the situation. You know what I'm saying? One of my wives is almost 7 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what type of situation that you're in. It's not clear cut out like that. Protection is multidimensional. You know what I'm saying? I've read stories about a man getting jumped and his woman fighting off every dude. So some of these concepts are not. They're not. It's kind of like I don't know, stereotypes, or it's a traditional way of viewing men and women too as well. That's creating some of these ideas. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we can pettifog through, a lot of things. There's exceptions to every rule. You know what I mean? We can break down anything and say, well, in this case,
you also can say that is protection the only rate? Is that the only reason for submission? Because some women are protected. I mean, if you got an entire police department that you could press 911 and have 100 soldiers that come to that phone call, would protection be the main purpose of submission? You got protection as a woman in this society. Am I lying?
Yeah,
the woman in this country is more protected than women all over the world.
Right.
Protection cannot be the cause for submission.
No, that's not the only thing. No, that's
a fact.
That can't be the only thing. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so, and if somebody's more intelligent, intelligence is a cause for submission, though, right? But if somebody is truly not more intelligent than you are, then you cannot truly be in submission to them, no matter what type of, culture you try to implement.
Are you saying that the so-called black woman should not submit to the authority of black manhood? I mean, what's your argument?
I'm not telling nobody to submit their authority to no fool. Huh?
No, not
I would never say that.
We're not talking about fools. The fools are not in this equation.
Right. She's already made that clear.
I'm looking around and I see a lot more fools than I see conscious, warriors.
I see
higher. So for me to go out there and put that statement out there, I don't think that wouldn't fit what's going on. I think that what I would say is that in our relationships, we need more patience and more love, and we need to stay together and build together. But I think the dynamics of any relationship is going to be relative to the individuals within that relationship, based on their intelligence, and it's based on the relative dynamics. But I think us working together, period, no matter what the dynamics are, is something that we can't part with. It's something that we can't separate from.
Hey, King Noble, man, stop playing, yo. Hold on, Yahshell, real quick. No. King Noble got videos of women bowing down to him calling him the god of the universe, man. This dude's playing right now.
But
man.
be honest, there's some women out here that ain't gonna bow down to me being the god. There's some women out there they're not gonna go for that. And if your woman ain't gonna go for that, don't try that at home, man. Keep your family together. You follow?
Yeah, I feel you on that, but I mean, obviously there's exceptions to every rule. Okay.
Wow, I think you guys are both saying the same things, but in different ways. So I think this is good.
This is how I see what you're doing after all of this. I see it more as a celebration of your relationship with your husband and something that you basically just want the world to know about, more than what I previously thought, which was something that you really are actually trying to promote for more women to do, because that's kind of how it's coming across right now. And
okay, all right, let me ask you a question. Did you go to my website?
No, I did not go to your website.
Oh, exactly. Let's start there, and then maybe we can continue this in another one.
I mean, you're right here live with me, so that's why I said that. And I've seen some of your videos in the past, so that the fact that I've not gone to your website today.
The only reason why I say that is because I explained everything. I exposed everything about the reason why I brought up domestic discipline. So you got to go there first to get that information, or maybe we can talk on the phone or something so you can know. But trust me, it gets a lot deeper than just what you just presented to me about how you perceive me. It's a lot deeper.
Right, and I just say that because I do see a greater potential platform or whatever. But that might be maybe after you listen to this video, you might see what exactly I'm saying, or not take it as offense, or take it that offensive.
I'm not offended at all. Okay. At all. But I did. I'm not used. Okay, so the whole purpose of this interview was that I was going to talk to King Noble. I wasn't expecting you. I didn't really know who you are, and I like to know people.
Right. Well, you should have went to the website first, sis.
What? You have a website? You have a website?
We've been had websites. You've been in the group.
No. Your movement. You have a web. Do you have a way that I can get to know you? I'm saying I don't know you. You see what
right? I'm saying if you had been to King Noble's website or his YouTube channel, then you would have known about me.
I was expecting to have just an interview with King Noble. King Noble did not tell me that there was going to be somebody else talking to me. So I don't really know your background.
No, you got to be ready. You got to be ready for anything, sister. Come on.
Queen, I'm ready. Bring it on. Just like we did this whole interview together, I'm ready. We can continue for 8 hours long. I'm all there. But I'm saying I want to know who you are.
Well, I mean, I definitely do have a I have several websites. I have
a website, Queen.
Several YouTube channels. I have several Instagrams. I have several Twitters. Girl, I could go on.
Give your main one with your most followers.
The main one is Natty Isisya, NattyIsisyaa, and that's basically on all social media. But I have other.
Are you serious?
Am I serious about what?
Wait, did you just say NattyAA?
Yes. No, NattyIsis, like ISIS, Natty Isis, yeah, YA.
Follow you. Why didn't you say that in the beginning?
We said it.
I follow you on Instagram. I love your posts.
I haven't been posting on Instagram.
Awesome. You're into like natural. I'm gonna tell you who you are. You're like into natural, just great thing, like naturalism, right? Am I wrong? Are you into like eating healthy?
Everything. That's why.
I follow you. Man. You should have said that in the beginning. Okay, everybody, go follow Natty Isis on Instagram. She's awesome.
All right. So.
But yeah, I'm glad. She just had a question, which I thought that opened up a very good dialogue. And
my real question was, it was going to lead to something else, but then you brought up the business part. I was really going to ask you if you got into a polygamous relationship with a sister who was not as submissive as you, how would you deal with that? Because I have seen instances like that where, you know, you might be thinking that you're giving it your all and you're devoted to this man and you're committed and all of this. And then here comes another sister and she does none of the shit you do. She's not interested. She's not submissive like you. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying as a sister who was into the whole submission and maybe has delved and taken it more seriously, what would you be your response, your reaction? That was really what my ultimate question was going to lead to, but then I saw it taking more of a business type direction, so I had to you know, delve into that instead.
I wish I could speak from a polygamous relationship.
Right, but
asked my husband.
You shut that down when you said he wasn't interested, so you know
he ain't interested. But I could just imagine myself in that situation, and I would be humble and at the same time very confident. So when I would know my area. So I know my area is building websites, graphics, doing creative projects. And her area is more domestic. Or
I mean, you say that, but
I don't step into her. You see what I'm saying? I will not disrespect. If she says this needs to be done like this, I'm gonna be like, okay, queen, I'm going to respect that. This is how I'm projecting it would be. This is how I would want it to be if I was in a polygamous relationship. Sometimes I'm going to be right. Sometimes I'm going to be wrong. But whatever it is, I'm going to build for the family and for the community. And I'm not going to just think about myself and just the fact that I'm just the head, whatever, the head wife or whatever. It's not about that, because at this purpose, nobody's in charge. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we're in charge. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes we have to lead. Sometimes we have to follow. I'm okay with that. Whatever is building and getting us to the next point is, I think, a beautiful thing.
Okay. But yeah, it wasn't I know I can come across strong sometimes and people really misinterpret what I'm saying, where I'm going. But I definitely see how there's a greater potential platform for, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing, but for what you're doing is like, so I guess just don't be limited to the whole.
Okay. First of all, I come off very strong to people who I don't know. When I just found out who you were and that I actually follow you and I look at your posts and I like your posts, then it's different now. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you. Right.
So maybe now you can go back and you can listen and be like, oh, that's what she's talking about. That's what she, because I'm like, oh my gosh. These women are not, they're not going to leave their 401, you know, their man and submit. Like, but I could see how that might need to be pushed more, is to submit to your man just because he, you know, he may not be a stellar black, like, you know, whatever ideal some black women may have. Like,
stop right there.
I know you want this ideal black man, but then men, black men.
No, we're not doing that. I don't deal with men like that who you're describing. I don't deal with them kind of men. I've left them. I've dealt with them kind of men in the past. There's no reason to even bring them up in this situation. This is for the queens who have found their real queens. I mean, who have found the real kings. And if you haven't found that, then you need to maybe step aside and go do some meditation or prayer or whatever. I've done that. I found my king. You understand what I'm saying? We're building.
Right. I mean, I see for you. I see exactly what you're saying, but
okay, but no, it's not for me. It's not for me. I'm talking to women like me who have found their good men, who found their good kings. And I'm not talking about the women who are with the men who they know they should not be with. If you know you shouldn't be with that man, then you need to go. Simple. I know I should be with my husband. This is my life sentence. I'm married to him. I will be married to him to the day that I die, because I love him. I trust him. He loves me and he trusts me. I'm not dealing. This is my message. I'm not talking to the women who are with simps, or the women who are with abusers, or the women who are with all this. I've moved past that shit. I'm talking about the queens who are with the kings. Can we just settle that?
But I'm saying, is the work being done for them to even see that he is a king? That's why I'm kind of
I don't know. I'm not in that.
Some of them are with men that they cannot
I don't have time to figure that shit out.
I'm saying you need to drill that, because if they can't even see that they're king, submission is out the window.
I'm not training a man to be a man. I'm a woman.
I'm not talking about a man. I'm talking about, if to me, I guess your message kind of comes across more as aimed at women in a certain sense. So there are women who are going to be students of yours.
I'm not trying to reach out to all the women. I'm
not saying even all the women, but it's a powerful message what you are talking about when you do mention the word submission.
And that's why I bring this to the women who are with good men.
So I guess you're talking about the women who already acknowledge that they're with a good man and who already acknowledge that he's a king. So in that sense, why wouldn't they be submissive to him already? You see what I mean? Like,
no, because it doesn't always happen like that. There's a lot of black women who are submissive to their black men. But there's a lot of women like us who we grew up in single family homes. We didn't have fathers. We only had a mother raising us. She was paying all the bills. She was whooping our asses. She was cussing us out. We was eating hot dogs. We was watching cartoons all day. You know what I'm saying? We had no structure. We didn't have a man in the household. So that's why we tend to cuss our men out. We can't control our mouths. We can't control our emotions. These are the women who I'm talking to. I don't want all black women into this shit. Matter of fact, I probably just want a third of them, maybe about a third. And we can do some powerful things with that third.
Mm-hmm. Funny thing goes to the woman I'm talking about. Right, but I mean, I think it's just something else to consider. But I mean, you don't have to. I see the big picture. I know what I could do.
Well, but, Queen, you do your thing. If you can reach, if you can reach these baby, well, I'm gonna say baby women. I don't want to belittle any woman.
You're thinking about it from a negative perspective. That's not where I'm coming from. That's not where I'm coming from.
That's why I had to catch myself. If you think you can reach the women who I'm not reaching to, I'm not talking to them kind of women. If you can reach those women who are in bad relationships or in a relationship,
no, you still doing it. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk some more on it, but I think I'm not talking about women in bad relationships. I'm talking about women in a relationship who just may not know that they're with the king. Because that's how I thought.
Let's stick with that. Let's just stick with that.
Right. Okay.
I know I'm with the king. I know that I'm with the king. If you want to deal with the women who don't know that they're with the king, they don't know what a king is, then you deal with those women. I know I'm with the king. I'm going to deal with the women who know that they're with kings.
But what would you need to tell a woman who's with the king? What more? You get me? If she knows she's with the king, obviously they're going to have, to some degree, a good relationship, a submissive, dominant, balanced relationship. So are you saying that you don't want to reach out to those women who, may have been getting misinformation, brainwashed?
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole reason why we started the page, for those women who want to meet a king or what they consider a king, then that option is available. But right now I'm strictly talking to
Girl, I don't, Queen, I don't know if you realize, like, your target market as much as I'm seeing, because it seems like you have a very targeted market, but you're not really targeting that market per se.
Oh, like, so now you want to talk about business. So we're talking about business now. We're talking about a target market
it almost is inescapable once you mention that there's certain women that you're not trying to reach out to and there's others that you are. It does come across that way.
I'm not.
So now it's starting to sound more like a dating, like a date, like a single woman.
Okay, let's talk about business. You said a targeting market. That is a term. That is a business term. So if we want to talk about my targeted market, I can tell you exactly who those people are. My targeted market is the MGTOW community, the IBMOR community, the indigenous.
You will have to define all of that stuff because I see it online, but I still don't know what it stands for.
All right, let's work on this one issue that you just brought up, and then we'll move on. Okay. My targeted audience is the indigenous. It's also the people who believe in Kemet, ancient Egypt, the people who identify themselves as Black or African American, and the women who want to learn how to be more submissive. That's my targeted marketing. Those are the people who actually financially supported me. I know them like a book. Okay. Now, if you want to talk about these women who you say, the way you say it is they don't know that they're with kings. The way I say it, I say it is if you ain't with a king, you with a simp, a thug, or some nigga ain't got his shit together, or you with somebody who you don't need to be with. Okay.
Let me put this on.
How much money you have. If you're with the king, you know you with the king. You could be dead broke in a 2-bedroom apartment with a whole bunch of fucking roaches, but you know you're going to come out of that shit because you're with the king who's working his business. But see, I can't talk to women like that. And now I will spread my message to as many people as possible, but I'm not going to force my beliefs on anybody. They're all welcome to join or not.
Okay. Yeah, I just see like a two-sided part, because then it's kind of like women who
everything is two-sided.
Know that there's a divine being that are not submissive to him, are not aware that they should be. That's it's kind of like
I'm gonna have to probably stop this until no. And the reason why I'm gonna tell you this is because you need to hear something from. I think you're getting things confused. I really think you're confused.
No, I'm not confused. No, I see how you are.
I don't know, but
where you're going.
I kind of think you're confused between the kings and the thugs and the bad guys that you shouldn't be with.
Okay, I'm gonna pull you right now. I'm gonna pull one of your lines right now. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's absolutely not a confusion of mine. But I mean, it's neither here nor there. I definitely am not confused about me personally about a king or a thug or anything like that. But I think
okay, but you're with King Noble, right?
About the negativity of certain Black people.
King Noble, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then you good.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying you say you're good, but our people are not good just because I'm with a good Black man or you're with a good Black man.
So let me ask you this. So what are we gonna do instead of going back and forth on some non-resolving type stuff? What are we gonna do to fix these women who you talk about? What are we gonna do?
That's what I was asking. What I was thinking that you were doing. I thought you were kind of more projecting out there for women to acknowledge their men as kings.
Okay, so this goes back to this goes back to what I said about 20-30 minutes ago. You do you, I do me. I'm talking about women who want to be submissive, who wants to be in domestic discipline relationships with good men, who wants to be spanked or wants to learn the art of submission. And this is why I invite you on my next show. Next show I have Iron. He's coming on he's a BDSMer. And then Alan Roger Curry. He's going to be on the show on May 19th. And so you guys are welcome to come out. To see some more different dynamics to this, because there's a lot of dynamics to this that can help men and women. And so I want you guys to check that out. Okay.
No problem.
All right. So I think I'm going to end it here. And Queen, what's your, actually, how can I reach out to you? I know you're on Instagram and everything.
If you hit me up at natty@gmail.
Okay. Got you. All right, so I'm gonna invite you to this next hangout, and we're gonna see if we can come up with some more solutions and see if we can move forward. Okay.
Right, and you can also add me as a contact on just regular YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how to do that?
Absolutely, I'm all day on YouTube. What's your YouTube?
Okay, so yeah, yeah, send YouTube. My hand, that whole Natty is for Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. So if you send me a contact or add me as a contact, then I'll communicate with you that way. It might be better than
What's your YouTube? It's the
Natty
same.
Okay,
Yeah. Got you. Okay, it's the same. I'm gonna reach out to you. And
all right.
King Noble, thank you so much for coming on. This is going to be a continuation because we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot of solutions to deal with. We are not going to stop until we get to the problem. And King, I know you're already there with it. And Lex, are you still there? I think Lex dropped out. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys next week. I'm going to reach out to you all, okay?
Black supremacy.
All right, Black supremacy. Peace.
Black supremacy.
Peace, Queen.
Peace.